Hey, good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to Conundrum Contingencies. I'll be your host, the good Reverend Garland Davis. Haven't done much preaching lately, but I'm in good spirits. Now, this video is going to be about how to make the perfect cup of coffee and what we can do about all this racial tension and how we can get rid of it. So let's start with the easy fun part, the perfect cup of coffee. All right, so now over here to the left, we've got my Mr. Coffee maker, and I'm not endorsing them, and I'm not saying that you have to use Mr. Coffee products or Hershey because I got cocoa. We got a little Starbucks pumpkin spice. We got brown sugar. We got some generic hazelnut flavored coffee creamer. We got 8 o'clock coffee. These are real beans. Then we have a Cuisinart grinder, and we have some sweetened condensed milk. Now, some of you studs out there like Guile, you guys might like your coffee black, and that's all fine and good. Give me a second. I forgot to clean the old beans. Now, give me just a second. Now, as far as, politicians go, even if they had absolute power, there's only so many things they can do in a day, and they're busy meeting anyway. You know, black folks have been getting whacked and meeting their demise in an untimely manner since the beginning of time, I would say. Sometimes by our own kind, and it's unfortunate. You don't have to do anything wrong to get messed with. The person on the other end could be bored, a busybody, or a coward. But anyway, back to the perfect cup of coffee. So you sprinkle out a few coffee beans into the grinder like so. Not all the way up because it'll be too strong and too bitter. We keep that aside. Put the top on the grinder. I usually do like 3-second bursts, 3 of those as a matter of fact. Now I'm retired Navy, but for some of you guys that have to go to work in the morning, maybe consider getting a coffee pot with a timer, and you can put it where you hear it kick, click, scratch 10 minutes before your normal wake up. And that's a lot more pleasant wake up for you than the beep, 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 beep of an alarm clock. So anyway, one of my neighbors was kind enough to give me one of these reusable filters, so I'll have to use the paper filters. Now, if you have a brand new coffee maker, make sure you clean it out. Don't get the back of it wet, but do run some, just do a regular cycle with no coffee, with all the parts assembled. Because they put chemicals in new appliances to extend the shelf life and keep them from rusting and keep insects out, stuff like that. And if you unwrap something and just use it, whatever you make or eat will not be good to the last drop. Not a big Maxwell House guy, but I remember when I was in the Navy and I walked into the war room, I was serving, I wasn't an officer. They had some cherry flavored Maxwell House I had never seen. So I grabbed a cup and it was pretty good. So we set that up. I've already cleaned my coffee maker, of course, and there should be a picture of water somewhere. The decanter, as it were. I thought I had all my mise en place. That's what they teach you in cooking school. Mess in place is what that means. Pour that in here. I'm sure your hand is a little bit steadier than mine. You probably won't spill a drop. All that old coffee from yesterday, instead of just pouring out, you could make some nice iced coffee instead of making the McDonald's Corporation even richer. That's what I did because I kind of needed a little bit of a burst before I started making this stuff for you. So I don't use a timer on my coffee maker. I just make it whenever I make it. Now, for you guys that have these single coffee makers, um, these things can be refilled. I'm not so high on if you got one of those fancy German coffee makers. I'm not so high on those used because my friend had one and we cleaned it and lemon juice and vinegar and rinse cycle and his coffee always had an aftertaste. Maybe that's why they got rid of it. But we thought we could bring it back to life and we couldn't. But you can get these grinders for I got this one for $3, but you can get them new for 10. You won't be able to get a new Cuisinart for 10, but you can get a used, generic one. Probably came from the same factory, made in Taiwan, Kencho in Mexico, or whatever. So, like I said, some of you guys like your coffee black, but brown sugar makes for a much richer cup of coffee. Um, but I prefer liquid creamers. In fact, I got some vanilla cream in the fridge that I got from the food pantry. And I guess I can give that a whirl. And I'll have to show you guys the vanilla cream later. I got so much stuff in my refrigerator I can't even find it. So anyway, um, all right. So now while we're waiting on that to brew, I just sent a letter to the Department of Justice, and well, I faxed the letter to the Department of Justice, and I'm mailing a letter to the CIA today. I got it right here. And I'm gonna read this letter's going to the CIA. For some reason, they wouldn't let me email them. They said access denied, so I just mailed that off today. There's nothing really derogatory in there to get me in trouble. But I'm telling you, a Negro doesn't have to do anything wrong for something bad to happen. You can just be out while black. You can just step outside. Like, once my mother tried to warn me, but I was trying to imitate Eazy. I almost got into a fight just for wearing some gloves with a hole in it. Said nothing. Another time I almost got attacked. Well, I was heavily armed, so it would have been his funeral. But I was just one of my friends was a helper, not a paid employee, but he was a helper at this corner store in Miami. He told me to wait, so I waited for him to get paid so that we'd go have a couple of beers. Then out of the blue, some black dude came up to me and said, "There's the guy that's supposed to rob the store today." Now, me being an ordained minister, I was deeply insulted, and I let him know with extreme prejudice that wasn't the case. I might have cussed him out, I don't know. So he said, "Don't be standing there when I get back." So I just reached in my pocket, put my finger on the trigger, and waited for him to come back, and he came back with nothing. And then somebody ran out and said, "Oh, don't bother that guy. He's with the church. Leave him alone." I really didn't need their help, but let's get to the letter. But first, let me show you something kind of cute.